Welcome to Edelbrock Live, episode number 15. I'm Eric. Eddie here again.
How you doing?
Today we're going to talk about probably one of our newest cylinder heads. Came out beginning of the year, end of last year. We debuted at SEMA, but came out at the beginning of this year, and it's for the Gen III Hemi. So this would be for your 5.7, 6.1, 6.2, 6.4 liter Hemis, and your current Mopars out there, your Chargers, Challengers, even the truck as well.
The LX platform for the Chrysler guys.
Exactly. So this is really exciting for us. This was kind of a long time coming. We've got a lot of requests over the past years from people. I know I personally got some from media guys going, man, if you guys made a head for the Gen 3, you'd kill it. If you made an intake manifold, you'd kill it. Well, we actually have both. We don't have the intake manifold here today. We'll do that in another episode. But here we're talking about the cylinder head. Really, it's a really beautiful piece of work. I think the engineer knocked out a park on this one. I mean, it's got a CNC chamber. It's just a all-around, just beautiful head. So it kind of, for us, and as far as I know, right now, this is the only aftermarket head available on the market. So if your choice is either to go with an OEM head and do some work to it, this is your only aftermarket solution. And it's great. For us, it's exciting because we've done a lot of other manufacturers' heads in the past, like the LS guys and the Coyote guys. It's nice to see the Hemi guys finally get a modern solution, a block. I mean, I think the Gen 3, we're seeing a lot more builds and swaps and stuff. So it's cool. It's cool that we're supporting it with a new head and intake. So Eddie will kind of dive into the hardcore specs here and kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at in the way of, what kind of improvements we made on numbers.
Yeah. So, I mean, the cool part is we offer a couple different varieties of like chamber sizes and stuff like that. We offer a 67 cc chamber, a 73, and an 83 cc chamber. Intake runner volume, you're looking at a 202 cc, and exhaust runner, you're looking at about a 75 cc runner. The valve diameter, the intake is a 2.165, and the exhaust is a 1.650. The guides are manganese and bronze, and the cool part about this, like Eric was saying, is the actual chamber, it's completely CNC'd. So it gives you it really performs really well under high performance applications and stuff like that. So it just gives you a nice variety, and of course you team that up with your chamber size, and you could really get some good performance out of it. Here you can see the different applications that we have. So like we said, it's for a 5.7, a 6.1, 6.2, and 6.4. So just depending on what you're looking for, you could actually buy it bare like you see here, or you could buy it complete with all, it comes with all the valves and springs and pretty much ready to go. You just throw it on there.
Bolt on at that point. Yeah, bolt on and go.
Exactly.
They currently are not emissions legal, so they would be only for engine swaps and pre-pollution control vehicles at this time. It's something I know our engineering team is working on. We're looking into. Don't know where we're at status-wise on that, but I know it's something that we eventually want to do is have this be emissions legal. But at this time it is not, so definitely not for use in states that we have to do a smog test on. But like Eddie said, kind of getting into what Eddie's saying, you look at those intake and exhaust runners, and we'll kind of flip to another chart here. Let's take a look at flow data. I mean, this thing flows. We have the 5.7 early chamber in here, and then you kind of work our way through the different engines, and you can see, I mean, you get up here at 700 inches of 0.7, you're at 348 CFM. So this head really flows well. Our engineers did their work, found that better flow, maybe improved flow. It definitely improved flow, but a better way of, sometimes it's not just about making the runner bigger, it's all about how you move the air through.
It's the real design of the actual runners and stuff like that. I mean, I get this question a lot on social media of, if you throw these heads on a car, how much horsepower are you going to make? And that's a really tough question to answer, because most guys that are going to do a head swap, they're not just going to do heads. You're either going to do an intake, or you're going to do a cam swap, stuff like that. So it's really difficult to put a number to it. But when you look at the flow data, that's where it really shines. That's where you could actually see, you can compare the apples to apples, because you're literally comparing your stock head as opposed to this. And the good part about these heads as well, if you think about it, they have a lot more meat in them. So you could actually go in there, if those hardcore guys, they could go in there and clean them up and port them out, even get better numbers than you see here. So it just depends how far you want to go, and boosted applications, that's where they really shine in those applications as well. I mean, it just depends what you're going to do with the car.
Yeah, and like Eddie said, I mean, these are all, again, these are designed cast and machined here in California by our guys internally. So like you said, there's a lot of material. You look at these flanges, and there's a ton of material on the intake flange, exhaust. Yeah. So if you got a race application, we have guys out there who have taken these and have poured them out. So I mean, there's a lot of room. There's more room in there for more to be done.
Exactly.
You know, that's why, like I said, these are really kind of aimed at eventually being emissions legal. So that's why it's kind of, you know, matches the OEM geometry. But also at the same time too, our engineers have done their homework. And on the OEM, you actually have a left and a right side head. Our head is universal, so it can be used on the left or the right side of the block, which just makes it a lot easier. It makes it a lot easier on us for manufacturing, because it's not two different part numbers, but also two for you, the guy in the street. You know, you have to worry about which one do I need, or God forbid something happens and you got to replace one. You only got to replace one. It doesn't have to be the specific left or right head, which is kind of a cool feature. And that's the kind of stuff that I think our engineers dive into. You know, it's like, you know, if we want to make it, we're going to make it better, and it's not just, you know, the flow and the performance. It's the small things like that. So yeah, let's talk about potential. I mean, so we get, like Eddie was saying, a lot of guys do. You know, there's going to be other modifications. We actually have a crate motor utilizing these heads along with our 2650 E-Force blower.
That's right. Yeah, so I mean, we pretty much take a stock block, and then we do forged internals. I believe it's a Manley rotating assembly.
It's a whole Manley bottom end on it.
That's right. So it's all forged internals, and then we throw on these heads, and we throw our 2650 supercharger, and I mean, that thing is making 808 horsepower.
Yeah.
So that's just. And that's not on it. You could probably still get more, like I said, if you put a crazier cam and maybe port the heads, and then put even a smaller pulley on the supercharger. I mean, you're looking well into the 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, and that's for, like I said, this is our crate motor. So what we're doing, this is a crate motor with a 2-year warranty. This is a crate motor. It's meant to be, you know, that literally you're going to put it in your car. It's great drivability. It's not undrivable. It's not like this thing's so rowdy that it just doesn't drive well. I mean, it's meant to cruise. It's meant to go to track and go down and make some noise. So it's just a great, like all of our crate engines. It's well balanced. It's not just a power monster.
This is on pump gas too.
That's like 91 octane, I think is what it's on. So like you said, there's way more room for that if you want to get a tuner and go beyond.
I mean, you can start doing things like I said, porting the heads, smaller pulley, maybe E85, something like that, or race gas. I mean, the sky's the limit at that point. You could, like I said, well into the 1,000 horsepower we really want to.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a guy, he's locally here, and I can't remember, he's out in the Inland Empire, I think, and he's got that Challenger. It's a Charger. The Charger, and he's making well over 950 horsepower on with just our blower, not even these heads. I think he's even dove that far into it. So it's like he's using a stock head. I can only imagine what an application like that with these heads. I mean, I think it would push him well into 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to give you a price point, these start right around $12.99 for a complete head. That comes with the valves, your springs, and everything ready to go out of the box. So for a pair, you know, you're looking at about $2,600, somewhere around there. So just give you an idea of how much they are.
Got one question. I got Anthony Ruiz asking, what heads are these? I'm guessing Anthony joined the broadcast a little late. Anthony, these are our Performer RPM heads for the Gen III Hemi. So this is again for your 5.7, 6.1, 6.2, and 6.4 liter applications, newer application. But like I said, we're starting to see this application migrate into Mopars as an engine, as a late model swap. Actually, we had one in our car show a couple years ago. The guy put this exact motor in before we even had the heads.
That's right.
But he had it was kind of one of the first ones I ever saw.
5.7 swap, right?
Yeah, 5.7 swap and a Barracuda. It was a really clean application. So we're kind of, as we saw that trend, we kind of jumped on it. And actually, I think honestly, from what I understood, we started out, and maybe I'm wrong, I have an engineer correct me, I thought we started out with the intake design first, and then all of a sudden, no, I take it back. I think it was the heads. It was the heads, but the intake, we do have a matching intake for as well, and that kind of came out of this as we started going down the road. But
any other questions on?
No other questions coming through. Guess we don't got any Mopar guys getting ready to hit us with the hard stuff. But yeah, check them out. Like I said, like Eddie showed. I mean, these are CNC ported chambers. The intakes are as cast, but they're profiled. So like I said, it's a really, you know, our engineers did their homework on it. Make good power. I know at one point we had these on a dyno with a blower while we were trying to get that number, and I want to say we were going beyond that. It just was, it was getting rowdy and undrivable.
Yeah, I think we're pushing for 1,000 horsepower. We got pretty close. We got pretty close, and then we started working on a couple other different projects. But like we said, I mean, it's a gray head. If you want to do a head swap, or you're looking for something with a little bit more potential and a little variety when it comes to chamber sizes, stuff like that. Again, gray head for all the LX guys. You know, the Chrysler, all the Chrysler third gens. I mean, just an awesome bolt-on head if you're looking for that, just that little extra bump.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No more questions. So I think that's it for today.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Take it easy.